What's up, Lacey?
What's up? Happy to be here.
Okay, so just quick show of hands, and don't worry, she won't be offended. If you've heard of Lacey, did you say a yes? If you've heard of her before, it's okay if you haven't, but if you have, let us know. And
Yay, I'm glad a couple of people have.
sometimes it's important for us just to feel significant, Lacey. That's all we're looking for. But I'm going to start off with this. If you don't follow her yet on Instagram, let's go ahead and do that. Here's her handle. And let's go ahead and share that. Lacey Newman _. We're going to have to figure out who owns the non_ and we're going to have to steal that from them. So everybody make sure that you give her a follow at Lacey Newman _. By the way, she has a great Instagram. You know what? Let me just go ahead and start. I met Lacey last year at the Modern Mortgage and Real Estate Summit in Las Vegas. Lacey came in lost. So I do what I do. I kind of gravitate toward the people that are lost and say, here's where you're supposed to be. This is where we're starting. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We became friends. We figured out that we had mutual friends in Arjun Ningra. Anybody knows Arjun? And we really got to know each other. Lacey is a real estate coach for agents. I am a mortgage coach for loan officers. And we've become really good friends over the years. And I'm going to talk a little bit about her. One thing that I really like about Lacey, and for those of you, and I'm really curious, is I love her social media presence. I really do. There's another agent, I want to use this example because Lacey is a really great agent coach, but there's another agent that I'm personally friends with, Marie Boatsman. If you follow her, she's Marie B Realty. And every time I show off friends of mine, they're like, why did I all of a sudden get like 100 new followers? I'm like, because I talk about you. But Marie and Lacey, they'll tell you this, and I think Lacey does a really good job. And I think you're an agent, you really need to focus on this too, is that Marie, Lacey, myself, Arjun, we say the same thing, which is the best known agent will beat the best agent. You have to be visible. You can be like the best agent, but if you keep yourself a secret. So between Marie, who did a really great job creating 30,000 followers, and then if you look at Lacey, she's done a really great job with her followers. The presence is amazing. What it did was when you meet somebody new, I was able to look into her world and get a sense of who she was, what she was about. And so even though our personal interaction was really great, I got to like her more from her social media presence. So I just wanted to say that. My personal social media handle is Khai McBride, and you can get to know a little bit about me. You'll start to understand that I've got kids and I play a lot of golf and I speak a lot and I love Kobe Bryant. But so I work with a lot of loan officers, and we talk a lot about really bringing the community together. I don't think this is just about loan officers and agents and what we could do for loan officers, but I just think bringing the community together, like we're one community, we're one real estate community. And I think at some point in time, why not bring the estate planners? Why not bring the insurance agents? Why not bring everybody else? Because we're all on the same team trying to help buyers. We're trying to help sellers. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to do something special. I wanted to invite a group of agents and have Lacey do a special session. It is August 5th. And by the way, I have an app on my phone, and I'm going to tell you why we're here today. I have an app on my phone. You see that little orange square? I don't know if you can see it, but it says 147. That's my countdown app. There's 147 days left in the year. And tomorrow there's going to be 146 and then 145. I have this on my phone because I think for those of you that are on a path to success, and those of you that are ambitious, you have to have a sense of urgency. And the one way you can have a sense of urgency is to put this countdown app on your phone to remind yourself that time is valuable, time is precious, and it clicks down every single day. And so, Lacey, it's halfway through the year. I know you want to talk about finishing the year strong, but we don't want to talk about it at the beginning of the fourth quarter. We want to talk about it at the beginning of the third quarter, right? But halfway through the year as a coach, just being in the industry, what have you seen so far in terms of agents and their attitude and their mindset? Do they feel successful? Do they feel like, are they tired? Are they looking forward to the end of the year? Is it summer? Is it nobody working? Like, what's the temperature of the agent market right now?
Okay, it's a total mixed bag. So I'm glad you asked. I would love to get a poll real quick in the chat. Thank you for having me, by the way. And thank all of you who are here for taking your time out to be here with Khai and I, because that we take this very seriously. Everybody's time is so valuable. So truly, thank you for taking the time to be here just to support us, but support yourself more importantly. But I want to take a really fast poll. Tell me if you have children, if they are in school or not in school right now. Because so many agents are in school, or so many agents have kids that are in school. And right now they're just getting back in Nashville Metro. And I was telling Khai before we jumped on live that like today was the first day in my house, my kids are not back in yet, that I was like, they got to go. I'm ready for them to be gone for 8 hours a day because I need, and this to your question, like I'm ready to get my life back. Because as a mom in real estate, we get the blessing of most of us getting the default parent mode during the summer. And so trying to juggle our real estate business while being default parent mode in the summer is a freaking lot. So I'm ready for my kids to go back. I know some are just, I see somebody's starting, Valerie's are starting on Thursday. Kristen's are starting next week. Love that. But where agents are right now is we are ready to go. We're ready to reclaim our time and reclaim our energy. If you're a person that's on this call, I'll tell you, most of the real estate industry, what they do is they stick their head in the sand and they give up in Q3. So I know if you're here, you're not one of those people, but that's what most agents do. Most agents get tired and exhausted through the summer. And then in Q3, they're unfocused and unmotivated. And then in Q4, they check out and they wait till January. And I know that because I did that myself for lots of years.
I would think Q3 is one of the most important quarters because it's like your goal is to do double the volume because you got to get through Q4 because everybody checks out in December. Everybody checks out like starting Thanksgiving, right?
Oh, yeah.
So this is the most important quarter, but we're halfway through the year. We're like on this sort of summer hangover. And so we have to get ourselves in that mindset. And it's one of the reasons why I put the countdown widget on my phone.
You could honestly, I just downloaded it while you were talking about it. You could honestly put the countdown widget as Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
No,
I'm going to reset it. Thank you, Coach.
The percentage of homes that we sell between Thanksgiving and New Year's, that is the smallest percentage of the entire year. And so let's be real. Not only will we be doing other things and spending time celebrating with our friends and family, we should be. Like, we have to take advantage.
All right. So I just took 40 days off of my calendar because I actually take the week of Thanksgiving off.
Yeah.
Which means the Friday before. So instead of 147 days, there's 107 days, which is exactly one quarter. So if that doesn't create a sense of urgency for some
having a panic.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But that puts it in perspective if you think about it. We will reap what we sow now in Q1 and Q2 next year because our Q4 is going to be abbreviated.
Right. Now, one of the things that I've appreciated about Lacey is she's not your typical real estate coach. I don't consider myself a typical mortgage coach. We're not sales coaches. We're not prospecting, right? We're about systems, organization, mindset, getting through the burnout and everything. You want the scripts, go call Tom Ferry. You want the scripts, go call the core on both of our sides. So what we want to do is we want to help you manage today where your brain is, how to manage your energy levels and burnout and systems. And I'm guessing here because Lacey's going to talk about some of that stuff. So what is the biggest thing with your kids going to school? Where do you kick off? How do you get an agent to kick off?
So let's pretend if you have kids at home that they're gone, whether that just happened this week or it happens next week, or like mine, it doesn't happen until late August, but let's pretend it's that time. Okay. So at the risk of being too coachy, I actually am going to share a slide with you guys real fast because I think this visual is going to be really helpful, but I prioritize, it's all about reclaiming your time, right? Like we have the same 24 hours in a day, but how we choose to allot it actually is directly related to the quality of our lives. And I want to show you guys this one thing real quick that I think will really help put this in perspective. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So I was just talking to one of my students in my group program today, and she has way too much on her plate. Okay. She is going through IVF. She is renovating a house that they just found mold in, like her own home. She has expanded. She owns her own brokerage. She's expanded her team, finally hired the support that she really needs. But then now that support is redoing their entire CRM from scratch. She's doing all of it. And she came to me basically in tears because she was like, every single thing I'm doing is important. Like every single thing is a non-negotiable that has to get handled. So where do I start? This is how I think about it, okay? And this is totally would flip Tom Ferry on his head, probably. But I start with my purpose first. So when I go to book my week and I think about what do I want to spend time on, I start with the things that answer the question, who do I want to be? And those are the things that go on my calendar first. Then, and like for me, that's a mom, that's a mentor, that's a great daughter, that's a partner. Like I put those things that relate to that, to the version of Lacey that I want to be, where I'm like, I'm living my purpose. Those go on my calendar first. Then the second level of things that go on my calendar would be the personal stuff. What do I need to do to show up as that person I said I wanted to be? For me, that's going to the gym. For me, that's blocking time to make sure that I pick my kids up from school, I have a driver now, praise the Lord. In years past, it was not have a babysitter pick my kids up from school. It was me do it. So it was time blocking the things that were me being the person that lives up to that purpose that I said was important. And then I put my professional priorities last, which I know probably Kai's like looking very skeptical about this. But the reason that
I'm in 100% agreement. I'm in 100% agreement.
People are like, what about leads? What about prospecting? What about all of that other stuff? But to me, here's the thing. I can take, or going back to my student that I was talking to and about earlier, she's got all these big things that she's got to do, big projects. But the problem is if she's not focusing on being the person she wants to be and living her purpose, she doesn't have the energy to do all that other stuff. But if we go about it the opposite way and we put our purpose and our personal before we put our professional goals, we actually have the juice to do the things we need to do in our professional lives. We get out of bed filled with energy. We go to sleep excited to get up tomorrow to do more things because we are actually aligned. And that to me, that's been the biggest secret to my success. Is just figuring out how to align that when I have big goals, but I also need to be sure that I can serve all the people in my world, not just my clients.
I am 100% in agreement. I was coached by Dan Sullivan, strategic coach.
Love him.
And I'm a performance coach. For anybody who wants to know about me, besides a mortgage coach, I'm a performance coach. So I'm big on what it takes to align your mind and your body with what your goals are. And what Lacey is talking about here is that there's two things happening. One is that when you're putting your priorities, your personal priorities first, it's giving you the constant satisfaction and the reminder why you're working so hard, because it's very easy to be a workaholic and forget why you're doing it, or even worse, that all you do is work and you don't reward yourself. Because the way our brains and our body works is that we're motivated by feedback of dopamine and serotonin, right? And so we have to put that in our lives to motivate ourselves. And I was telling somebody this is a joke. I said, if you want to work harder, go buy an expensive car and it'll remind you you got to pay for it. But that's extreme. I don't recommend that. But the reality is that if you're putting those things first, it's giving you motivation. But what it's also doing is it's creating balance. It's creating less stress in your life so that you can get through the times. The second thing is that there's a law called Parkinson's law. And what Parkinson's law says is that you will fill up the time doing whatever it is that you need to do. So in other words, if I gave Lacey 1 hour to do something, she could do it in 1 hour. But if I gave her 8 hours to do it, she would take the 1 hour thing and drag it for 8 hours. And so one of the reasons why a lot of people are not productive is because you give yourself too much time to do it. The reality of it is that without giving people anxiety, 107 days, That's plenty of time to make a huge dent on your business. So by prioritizing all your personal things first, prioritize your gym. You're going to say to yourself, I only have 5 hours in the day to work. I'm like, I know exactly. And I know you're going to do it because every single person here, when you have to leave early because you got to go on vacation, you work at like triple speed.
So
So
true.
that's what we're doing. We're filling it up because when you give yourself the entire day, it's like too much. And so that was the whole Dan Sullivan concept too, as well. It's like, you got to give yourself, you got to prioritize the time first. And that prevents a lot of burnout as well.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing. And that's what is, I mean, if you look statistically, 85% of real estate agents fail out of the industry. And I'm one of those people, by the way. I quit and then came back. I consider myself one of the real estate dropouts, which is, but when I came back to the industry, which by the way, was kicking and screaming, like I got licensed in 2005. I did okay. I did all right for the first handful of years. Of course, like the Great Recession happened. So it was not like all sunshine and rainbows anyway. And then I had 2 kids and I was your typical mom with a real estate license. And I did okay. But what wasn't good is what was happening in here, which was all consuming guilt because I had no boundaries in my life. I thought that my job as an agent was to respond to my clients' needs as quickly as possible. I thought that was the job. What I didn't understand was leadership. I didn't understand that my clients were actually hiring me to lead the process and to tell them what to do, not to sit there and be, I would laugh. I was like a Waffle House short order cook, like whipping up cheeseburgers and waffles left and right for anybody who needed them. I just lived in reactive mode and I hated it. I burned out. And I had these 2 little kids and I felt like a bad mom and a bad agent. And when it was 2014, I got divorced. And when I came back to the industry reluctantly, I might add, because why would somebody go back to something that they already failed out of? But I did. And I was committed to do things completely differently and had to figure out boundaries because I was not going to let the business take me away from my kids as a single mom more than I already was taken away from them with splitting time with their dad. I had to make money, had to. And I couldn't fail. And when you get put in those positions where you don't have a choice, you're forced to do things differently. And so that's what flipped the switch.
I would like you to talk about this. This is on your Instagram. I saved it for myself personally, but the agent who never stops working has the least amount of leverage.
Oh yeah.
You might be the hardest, most dedicated, most responsive agent in your market. However, what happens if you step away for a week? What happens if you step away for a week? In other words, your only system is hustle. Your only system is hustle. So when the hustle stops, everything stops.
Yep.
This is key. So when you create boundaries around your time and you create systems that work without you, you're prioritizing sustainability and overexhaustion. I loved every single thing about this carousel. The successful agent is not less committed. They're more leveraged. This is key. When you guys came today, I don't know what you're expecting. If you're like, let's keep going. Stop celebrating burnout. Stop celebrating and telling people, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, so I worked 80 hours a week, as if burning out is a badge of honor. That's actually a poor business person. Okay. If you came here today, we weren't here to talk about prospecting strategies or sales strategies. It's what is the leverage business that you could create. I'm going to make a recommendation. If you haven't read it, my favorite business book of all time is The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. And Lindsay, if you're here, if you can maybe put a link. And it basically talks about the solopreneur, the self-employed person that works for themselves and does everything themselves is like the worst boss to work for. Like you'd rather go get a job, because a true entrepreneur installs systems. Eventually they build a team and they do not rely on hustle, and they're not deal makers. They create a sustainable business with tracking with systems and everything else. But let's talk a little bit into that carousel. Can we explain a little bit more from an agent's point of view? Because I can talk to town from a loan officer point of view. But what does leverage mean for an agent? How does an agent leverage so they feel like they don't have to hustle? What does that look like on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a system basis?
So every person in real estate is self-employed, but very few real estate agents are entrepreneurs. Or let me rephrase that. They are, they just don't know it.
Right.
They don't know what that's supposed to look like. And I hear all day, every day from successful, outstanding, high quality agents that they say, I don't have time to teach somebody else. Nobody's going to do it as well as I do.
I love that.
Here's my favorite. My clients need me to do it. Let me tell you what every one of those three things is. Number one, not true. Those are limiting beliefs. Not having enough time really means I don't know how to hire support. Or if I did hire support, I don't know that I'm going to get the right person. And I don't actually know how to let them help me. Saying nobody's going to do it as well as I am, what that means is I don't trust that actually somebody might do it better than me. Like, I don't know that yet, because that's the reality, y'all. The person you hire to take something off your plate might come up with ideas that are so brilliant and so innovative that they actually might do it better than you, which is
That's exactly what you want.
the best thing ever, by the way.
Yeah. So name those three things again. Name those three things. The first one is
the first one is I don't have time.
I don't have time. But here's the thing. I always put in perspective. 168 hours in the week. We all have the same amount of hours. Some people leverage it better than others. Some people leverage it than others. But what I also hear by that is you're admitting that you waste a lot of time. You waste a lot of time.
Oh, so much time wasted.
You waste a lot of time.
So
Yeah.
but you
and, and that's a whole session in itself.
I was going to say, but you have to stop. You have to force yourself to stop, to slow down, and to actually take the time to communicate what it is you're doing so that somebody can then replicate and automate it for you.
Yeah.
You have to pause, but that pause actually gives you infinitely more time back. You don't even realize how much time you're wasting doing the same repeatable task over and over again. That's way.
So here's my carousel in terms of what I've learned from billionaires, 8-figure and up billionaires when it comes to time. Number one is they do not waste time on things that produce results, that don't produce results. And so when people say they don't have time, the question is, what are you wasting your time on? Because you're not putting your time on things that give you results. Rule number 2 is what does produce results. They move fast. They don't overthink. They don't wait, and they do not try to perfect. 2 rules of 8-figure earners and up. Do not waste their time. And the things that they're supposed to work on, they move extremely fast. Time is the currency of billionaires. Remember that. Time is the currency of billionaires. Okay. What was the second one? Nobody does it better than me. What was the second one?
Perfection. Nobody's going to, the second one is, so the first one is I don't have time. The second one is nobody's going to do it as well as I do.
Nobody's going to do it as well. So the nobody's going to do it as well is a combination of, number one is, do you realize that you're also not perfect? Because if every 90 of you think that, one of you doesn't do it that well. The thing is that we're more forgiving on ourselves. That's all. That's all it's just. Now, if you have a child, I mean, are you going to do everything for your child? It's just, you don't have the patience to train that person, or you didn't hire the right person. That's really what it belongs. That's really what the bottom line is. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a control issue.
It's completely a control issue. That's what it boils down to. And that's where I see so many high performing agents burning out, is because they just can't let go. And the things that got you to this level, we asked, how long have you been in the business? And most people here were mid-career plus, which means you guys are great agents. Like, nobody here needs to learn how to sell real estate. Like, y'all got this handled. It's running a business that's the hard part that nobody teaches us. And the last one was, my clients need it to be me. They expect it to be me. I control the customer experience. I got to tell you guys something. People don't care who delivers the result. They just want the result delivered. And it's a little humbling when you start delegating. Like, for example, when we brought on our first buyer's agent, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose so many clients because if somebody calls me and they ask me to represent them to purchase a home, like they're going to want me. Actually, not true. People are not paying for your presence. They're paying for your process. And just like we walk in the doctor's office and we don't expect the doctor to be standing there behind the desk, and we don't expect him to weigh us, and we don't expect him to take our blood pressure. We expect him to come in at the end, talk to us for 5 minutes and peace out. Like, you can put all of those other people in place to protect your time. So you're spending your time on your highest revenue generating activities.
The doctor is the perfect example because when you go there, the receptionist is in charge of welcoming you, making you feel comfortable. The nurse comes in, does your diagnostics, your vitals, and everything else. The doctor comes in like almost at the very end. And I'm thinking about my vet too, because I usually give my dog to the nurse, they take it back. And then like at the very end, the doctor comes back and says, okay, this and that, and I'll be back in a second. Then the doctor leaves, and then the nurse comes back, and she's actually the one that I create the relationship with. But what that is, that's an entire process. It's the doctor-nurse process.
Yep,
And
exactly.
it's creating that.
Exactly. So let me tell y'all this. In fact, I'm going to share one more slide real quick, Khai, because what this is about is boundaries, right? That's what this is, establishing professional boundaries. And what I want to share with you is how having boundaries actually makes you more money, which is completely counterintuitive to the way I operated for the first 10 years. But when you have professional boundaries, when you step into your role as if you are any other high level professional, you're a doctor, you're an attorney, you're a CPA, you step into that professional role and you put those boundaries in place, your clients actually respect you more. They don't see you as a friend as much as they see you as can you see this slide, by the way?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Sorry. I threw off because I couldn't find it. They see you less as a friend and they see you as the professional that you are. And when they respect you, they actually trust you more. And then that trust gets them better outcomes, because we all know what happens when we get friend zoned by our clients. When they see us as a peer and not a professional, they're going to call their aunt, they're going to call their dad, they're going to call their cousin who just got his real estate license. They're going to get all these outside influences. When you come in and you're like, this is how it is, they will listen to you because they will respect your authority as the professional. And when they trust you, we all know what happens. Better things happen for them because we actually do know what we're talking about. We don't let them run the show. We are there to lead the process. And when we do that, and when we come from a position of power and authority with our clients, they get better results and they refer us more clients because they are raving fans instead of just, oh yeah, my friend from the school pickup line. I always told people, like, I do not want to be hired because I'm your favorite mom in the carpool line. I want to be hired because you truly believe that I'm the best person for the job. And that's not the approach that most agents take.
It's really a question of leadership, Lacey.
Yeah.
The things that so here's the thing about agents, which is like a contrast with loan officers. Agents are generally naturally extroverts, which is why you got into the business, right? Because you want to show people houses, you want to meet people, you want to be a people person. Loan officers are different. We can be a little bit too introverted. We're into numbers. And that's why when we communicate with you guys, it's like confusing. But the one trait with agents is being a people person is agents tend to be people pleasers.
Yep.
And so people pleasers, when you look at the buyer or the seller, a people pleaser is pleasing. So you're lower than them. So the client actually sees you as their servant. They're controlling you. They want you at their beck and call, etc. Versus flipping it where you're the leader. And it's not just a matter of control. They're going to respect you more. They're going to respect the agent that has power, that knows what to do. Because why would I want to buy a home and be in control? I want you to be in control. Like, I want you to tell me what to do, but you have to set the boundaries. And that could be hard for that high I extroverted personality because you want to be a people pleaser, scarcity mindset. When you work with an agent, how do you help them transition that boundary? Because it's so easy, especially when there's not enough transactions, you have scarcity mode, that you're afraid to say no, or you're afraid to say this is how it's going to be done. How do you get them to trust that step?
So here's the thing with boundaries. When you try to set them after the fact, Nobody likes that. It feels like you're being called into the principal's office. You don't want to do it. The person doesn't want to hear it. No, you feel like you're in trouble. It triggers shame, honestly. Like when you have to set a boundary after the fact, everybody feels crappy about it.
Yeah.
So what boundaries are all about, the secret to them is you have to set them proactively, which means you have to have really clear expectations and you communicate them before the issue happens.
Right.
And here's a little ninja trick. One of the best way to communicate boundaries is you treat people the way you want to be treated. For example, if I don't want my clients to pick up the phone and call me out of the blue because they always call me during my son's basketball game, or they call me at 9:00 at night, or they whatever. If I want my clients to schedule a call with me, which by the way, I don't want my clients to call me randomly. I want to know when I'm going to have a call with a client so I can be ready. I can be focused. I'm not in the car driving. I've got the paperwork in front of me that I need. So how do I make that happen? I don't call them. I reach out to them by text or email and I say, hey, I would love to jump on a call with you. Would 2:00 work? And they say yes. And we set up the call. And because I model that behavior to them, they don't just pick up the phone and call me. They send me an email and say, hey, I need to jump on a call with you. Does 2:00 work?
Yeah.
And so you just show the way you want to be treated. If you don't want your client to text you at 8:00 at night, don't text them at 8:00 at night. Wait till 8 a.m.
Yeah. And redirect the behavior. If they're calling you, you can just respond back and say, I would love to talk to you. And it doesn't have to be negative. Like you don't have to say, I'm not available. Just reply back, say, I would love to talk to you. Are you available in 30 minutes? There's no negativity. You're not turning them down.
And don't apologize either.
Don't even apologize. I'm so sorry. Don't even say that. Just say, hey, I missed your call. I would absolutely love to talk to you. Are you available in 30 minutes? And you're setting compliance for them to follow a schedule. Anybody that has an assistant, people say, everybody wants to work with me. And I say, so based on what you're saying, how did you introduce your assistant? Did you not introduce your assistant after the fact or in the beginning of the process? You say, by the way, this is my real estate partner. Don't say assistant because you're going to lower it. This is my real estate partner. She's the smartest person on the planet. She's going to handle she is such a leader. She's so organized and she's going to be contacting you a lot. You have to edify them so that there's so much confidence in somebody working with somebody else. Otherwise it's control. If you call them your assistant, if you say, no.
Nobody wants to work with somebody's assistant.
Yes.
Yeah. No, you don't want to feel like you're getting the handoff. So first of all, you switch the I to we. You do not say, I sold $1 million in real estate yesterday. You say, we sold $1 million. So we all the time, switch the I to the we. Let me tell you, even if it's you and a VA, even if the we is literally you and your TC, you are a we, okay? Because you're a business. You're not just a random person with a real estate license. You are a business. So it is a we. And then always have whoever they're going to interact with, have them there as part of it from the very beginning. If you know that you're going to have someone help you with the listing, have them there at the listing presentation. If you know that you're going to pass this buyer to a buyer's agent, have the buyer there at the initial conversation. Like if that person is present in the beginning, it's not a pass off. You just are like, have y'all seen the meme of Homer Simpson where he's
backing up into the bush?
Backing up into the bush. That's you. Okay. Like you want to Homer Simpson into the bush and let your team take the parts of the business from you that are not your highest revenue generating activity so that you can go out and prospect and you can go out and make new connections and you can go out and do the heavy lifting that actually makes the money and not be sitting there debating the merits of different white paint colors.
I saw this. I don't know if I recommend this, but I read about this one time about an agent who started out and did not have an assistant. So she created an account, named an assistant, and would communicate to the buyers like, I'm manager. But what it did was by doing that, she was able to separate people contacting them or going through her assistant. And it was just setting those boundaries. But what's semi-brilliant about that was that when she eventually hired that assistant, she just said, let me tell you what I do as my own assistant. I just want you to take that over. And so the role, like it was really great. But what I love about that is that person, it wasn't an ego thing. That person was already thinking systematically, because here's the reality. If you don't have an assistant, you're your own assistant. So she started just carving out, if I was my own assistant, what would I do? And she just did it under a different alias.
Yeah.
I don't know how compliant that is or what that is, but I thought the concept was brilliant because it's getting in that mindset, like, I'm a business owner and this is what I'm going to do.
Exactly. And there's probably AI that can do that for you now anyway. But what it is too, is it helping to compartmentalize. Okay. We talk about this a lot in my coaching program, the difference between dumpster fires and kitchen fires. Okay. So everything is an emergency in real estate, whether it's which white paint color are we painting the walls of the house that, by the way, won't be ready for paint for 3 more months, but we need to talk about it today, or the deal is falling apart, right? Everything is an emergency to our clients because it's a big freaking deal. These are huge transactions. It's a big deal. There's a lot of emotion. So to them, everything is important, as it should be. But we have to figure out, how do we compartmentalize the dumpster fire that we can let burn versus the kitchen fire that needs to be put out right now before it burns the house down. And so when you start thinking about things in levels of importance of what is okay to let go and what needs to be addressed right now. And one of the things that I want to make everybody realize is that an email, by virtue of format, not an emergency. And so if you're sitting at your computer or a stoplight, refreshing your email 4,000 times a day and handling your emails as they come in, you are doing other people's to-do list tasks. Your email is other people's to-do list for you. Okay. You're not focusing on your priorities. You're managing somebody else's priorities or 200 other people's priorities.
I'm anti-zero inbox theory because I didn't ask for those emails. So it's not my responsibility to clear emails. But I want to share something with you because I think this is really important. And before I show this to you, I want to use an example. If I were to hire a professional, okay, if I'm going to hire you, Lacey, to be my agent, I want you to not only be in charge, but I want you to make me feel calm and secure. Okay. So what I see a lot is we see a lot of agents and loan officers that are constantly giving updates and constantly, okay, I'm going to handle it, because you feel busy and you feel important. But what you're doing is you're actually giving your clients anxiety. And this is, I love one of your posts. The agent who can stay calm when everybody is reactive is the one that gets hired again and again, because you may be knowledgeable, you may be skilled, you may be experienced, but if you're overwhelmed and reactive, think about the anxiety that you're giving to the client, and think about, if you're the client, do you want to work with an agent that you feel that anxiety, or do you want to work with somebody that you can feel the trust? And so you're not only protecting your energy, you're protecting their energy. Okay. So like I tell loan officers all the time and agents all the time, you don't need to update them with everything that came in and communicate with them all the time. You want to just say, I want this to be an amazing experience with you. And unless it's a fatal emergency, just assume everything's going to go great. Like, you want to be with that calm agent. I love that post so much because you will then attract and train calm clients, because I think every agent has this story about these clients that are just frantic. And sometimes they just what they are, but we have the ability to control that as well too.
That's our job, is to control that. Our job is to bring them down so that they feel good. Because, and let's go back to the doctor analogy. You go into the doctor and you've got a stomach pain. If the doctor's, I'm going to call the specialist right this minute. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And he runs back into the room. Here's what he said. You would be like, oh my God, I'm dying. And if the doctor's, okay, yeah, all right, I'm going to make the call. And then they make you leave and they're like, we'll call you in 2 days and let you, you're like, I think it must not be that big of a deal. Like they have a process, and the process that they follow makes you calm and confident that they've experienced it before, that they've seen it before, that everything is okay. If you're frantic and you're sliding in sideways, spilling iced coffee out the side of your SUV as you slide into the showing, like, you're not making them feel like they're getting a 5-star experience. And that's what you need to get referred, is you don't need to just get the deal closed. You need the client to walk away being like, wow, that was awesome. I thought buying a house was going to be so stressful, and that was actually like really great. And their nervous system is what's going to tell how they felt about that transaction at the end.
Yeah. Is it like buying a house, getting married, getting divorced? Those are three most stressful things.
Yep.
So if you can make your process not stressful, they're going to be the one that you're going to be the one that they're going to call every single time.
And it's all about expectations. We've been doing Monday updates for our seller clients for years. So we let our sellers know every Monday, by the end of the day, you are going to get a full written report with every single person who came to the open house, what the feedback was, the showings from the past week, all the marketing activities, the results of that. You are going to get a comprehensive review of everything that happened in the last week with your home listing. And it's like this long. And we keep adding to it. We add to it every week. We don't take anything away. We just keep adding new things to it. So it just gets longer and longer. So they can't forget all the things that we've done. But what this does, this came out of necessity because we got really listing heavy. And then all of a sudden on Monday morning, my phone was blowing up. Every single seller was calling me for an update.
Yeah.
I haven't even gotten my kids dropped off to school yet. I'm not in the office yet. I haven't called a single person for feedback from the open house yet because it's freaking 8 a.m. I need a minute to do my job and then I'll report to you. But what was happening is it was just convenient for them. It was on their mind. Hey, I'd like to know what's going on with my listing. But I was starting my week on my heels. I was living in playing defense every Monday morning because I was having all these calls that I had to either pick up and be like, I don't know yet, let me call you in a few minutes. Or I'd have to not answer the phone, get the kids off to school, and then go do it. And so I just said, okay, hey, you're going to get a full report every Monday.
Every Monday. That is the exact system we use as loan officers. It's like you do the full status report on Monday. It keeps it compartmentalized so you communicate with your clients once a week. And it also gives a deadline for you that by Sunday, you have to stay organized and check on every single one of your files, like full report of what's going on. And then what we do then on Tuesdays is we call more for a service call. How's everything going? Are you okay? And here's the most important, and here's something that I think that sometimes people miss in the whole transaction. It's like you're helping somebody buy a home. So you know what the Tuesday calls are for? Hey, so have you picked the paint out for that nursery yet? And is your kid excited about the backyard? And have you found the schools yet? I can send you a report of all the new restaurants because you're moving into the area. That's what Tuesday's for. It's like the relationship part and asking for referrals. That's really the thing that we're trying to do is we're trying to like, if you're always in fire mode, when are you building the relationship? When are you asking for the referral? When are you
That's a good point.
business,
That's
right?
a great point.
You
Yeah.
have to time for that. That's what the Tuesday calls are for. The Tuesdays is the relationship day. Monday is full-blown status day. But if you're living in this whole like every single day I'm working on stuff and I'm giving people status, like you're so frantic all the time.
Yeah.
You have to.
And you can do, back to your point about leverage, like you can do all that yourself to a point. But if you don't start leveraging the support of other people, if you don't add, I think every agent needs a team. It doesn't mean you have to work with other real estate agents. I think being the only real estate agent is a very valid life choice. But you, even if you want to be a solo agent for the rest of your career, you need a team around you because you cannot be your own social media manager, your own transaction coordinator, your own assistant, your own buyer's agent. You can't be all of those things. You've got to pick and shoot, nor should you. You can, but it's not going to be fun or pretty. And you will always be limited by your own capacity. And so the fun thing is once you get to a point, you've been in the business a few years, you're starting to make good money, but then you feel that pressure and you're like, how I want to grow my business, but how on earth could I add more to my plate? My plate is completely full. That's when you know you've got to start delegating. You've got to start building a support team around you. And that's what's so fun because then you get to go, what parts of this business do I love? What do I do all the time that doesn't feel like work? What do I hate? And who can I hire to get them to do that? So I don't ever have to do that again.
We're coming up to the end of the hour. So here's what I want to do. I want to ask one more question. It's something that the both of us are going to answer. And then I want to talk about some things that Lacey is doing also in the future so you can continue to stay in touch with her. But here's the question for you, Lacey, for both of us. and I'll give you my answer and give me your answer, is what do you think should be somebody's first hire? Because I think the modern agent is a little different than an agent from the 2000s. The modern agent is a little different because we've got everything from transaction coordinator, we have your buyer's agent, we have your social media, we have your personal assistant. What's your philosophy on the first hire? And I don't think there's one answer, but
I was gonna say is I think it's completely custom to you. So I have in part of my program like a spectrum of alliances. Okay. And it might be your first hire for your real estate team might be a housekeeper.
yeah,
Your first hire for your
it
real
could be
estate,
like the open house person. It depends, right?
it's
Yeah.
what do you not want to do? What is draining your energy? What makes you flinch and cringe every time you think about having to do
Yeah.
it?
That's
That's what it is.
good.
Like if the old school, and I don't disagree with this, is a transaction coordinator. That is a
Right.
low value, repeatable task that is so important, but it's honestly so important. It's good to have one person whose brain just works that way, just hammer it out. So generally that's a really good one. But if you are a rock star at paperwork and it doesn't drain your batteries, then knock yourself out. But if you love running the business, maybe it's a buyer's agent. If going and showing houses on weekends and evenings is the thing that makes you just sick to have to think about because you really just want to spend more time with your kids, then it's a buyer's agent.
Yeah.
If it's, and I,
But sometimes, this sounds funny. Sometimes, like this is what I did. I hired somebody to go pick up my kids from school. Why? Because if I had to stop my day at 3 o'clock to go pick them up from school, I lost 2 hours. And so that's part of my staff is the person to pick my kid up from school because it gave me 2 hours a day.
that was my first
My
hire.
first hire was the opposite. In the loan industry, everybody says, hire a loan officer assistant, hire a loan officer assistant. I said, no, I'm a little OCD about having somebody do my work. I did the opposite. I hired a marketing assistant because I was like, I don't know marketing that well. I would love somebody to do the marketing of the things. And so I know there's a lot of people here that might be scared of social media. That might be your first assistant. Have somebody who's comfortable with social media hire the first person, right? So a lot of it depends on your personality. If you suck at transactions, then it'll be the transaction coordinator, right? If you don't like drive around in the car, it might be the buyer's agent. You got to look what yourself is and don't follow like this cookie cutter. Your first, this is your second, this is your third assistant.
Totally agree. It's do what lights you up. My entire philosophy of business, if you could boil my entire recipe for success down to one thing, it's do more of what you like and figure out who can help you do the things you don't like.
And
that's literally it.
And hire people that allows you to do less of the bullshit that you're doing and allows you to do more of the things that not only make you money, but you enjoy that make you money as well. That you enjoy that make you money as well. So I want to talk a little bit about, you have an event coming up.
I do.
Webinar coming up, a free event.
I have a big event coming up. Yes. So it's called Rise Higher. And this is a reset. Okay. This is for every agent that is trying to get their mojo back after what may or may not be a disappointing first half of the year. I know a lot of agents I'm talking with are not happy with the way things have been. It may be you just reclaiming your 8 to 4 now that your kids are back in school. Like it's the agent who's not ready to stick her head in the sand and be like, I'll chalk it up and we'll start over in January. It's that agent I'm ready to get my shit together because we have 107 good working days left and I want to make my Q1 be awesome. Yep. And I want to do it in a way that fuels my life, not burns me out. And I don't want to hear the same old advice. So I'm doing that on the 5th. It's going to be in person in Nashville as well as a live stream. So literally haven't even released the time and all that. So if you want to just join that wait list, then I will send you all the details. But that is my big free community event. That is my gift to the real estate industry.
And men are invited too. They can crash.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Men, market to the ladies, but I have men in my program and men are more.
So I put the link in the chat. It's Lacey Newman /Rise. And also for those of you that want to talk to Lacey about her coaching program, did I get it right? Is it Elevated Agents?
You got it. It's right there.
Right? Okay. Yeah. Elevated/agents. Here, let me, Elevated/agents. You could talk to her personally as well too. We are going to put this out in a follow-up email for everybody with also a link to watch this recording again. Okay. So you get to see the recording again. We're going to put out the links to Elevated Agents. We're going to put out the link to Rise Higher. Two other things too. If anybody wants to get a hold of me, connect with Khai. That's an easy way. This is my link tree. I know most of your agents, but if you ever want to banter and set up a time to talk to me, and also one other thing, I'm a part of one of the reasons how I got to know Lacey is I'm a partner in an organization called LFG Society. And the society is a group of just leaders and professionals in all industries that we get together. We have an online community. We go to events. And Lacey and I had mutual friends in LFG Society. So that's how we connected. And some of the people involved are like Ryan Serhant. Like he was one of our speakers and one of our original members. We've got a lot of people in the real estate and other communities too. We're going to put the link if you're interested in the LFG Society. We have our big event in September. We got a couple minutes. Does anybody have any last questions for Lacey? And then while that's coming in, Lacey, closing thoughts for today. If you wanted to leave them with one thing today before you see them again at your event or any place else, what would it be?
I would say my closing thought is that if your business and your life are not exactly where you wish that they were right now, as backwards as it sounds, I want you to put yourself first. I want you to focus on what makes you happy. I want you to focus on your physical health. I want you to focus on getting enough sleep. I want you to put yourself first, because I think that, as Khai said, so many of us got into this business because we love people and we love pretty houses and we have families and we have lives that we want to live that are big, and this business just starts to consume us. And I want you to be in the real estate industry for 20 years, for 30 years, beyond. And you can't do that, and you can't do it well if you don't have sustainability. And the sustainability comes from you waking up every day feeling balanced, feeling energized, so that you can go be the best for the people that need you, your clients, your family, your friends, everybody. So this is your mission slip, to be a little selfish.
I'm going to double down on that. I'm a huge golfer, and I think that I was so obsessed that I would practice every single day because I was like so ambitious, and I started to get worse. And I came back from a big golf trip, and I said, I'm not going to play golf for 2 months. I'm going to rest my mind, rest my body. I finally played, and I was like amazing. But I think it's the same thing in business. It's like, you need some time off. You need to get more sleep. And another thing that chat reminded me, don't work 4 to 5 hours straight. Take a break every hour. Go take a walk. Go rest your mind. Because what I can tell you as a performance coach is this: your ability to perform has everything to do with your body's ability to create sustained energy. And you guys aren't burnt out because of your mind. You burn out because of your body. You're overworking your body. You're overexhausting your thoughts. And you have to treat it correctly. I wear a Whoop band to track my sleep, to track my stress and everything. That's another one. Or a ring. Yeah, but that's what I say. So thank you, Lacey, so much. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. I hope everybody shows up at Rise. It's a free event.
It's free.
Yeah. And for anybody that's interested, we're going to put out links for her coaching, or if anybody is interested in the society, we would love to see you. And you know what I'm going to say? This isn't going to be the first. We'll hold another one because we appreciate everybody. I appreciate all my loan officers, all my agents. And so you'll be seeing from Lacey again.
Yeah. And hey, DM me. If you guys have questions or want to chat, just send me a DM on Instagram. I'd be happy to help any way I can.
All right. Have a great day, guys. We'll see everybody soon.
Thanks, Khai.